Hey, what's up?
Sup? What's up is, looks like you guys forgot to invite me to your little get-together.
No, we were just about to text you.
Just about. I also noticed I wasn't invited to go with you guys to the movies last night either.
It was a horror movie. You hate horror movies.
So, I hate spiders too. But if a spider was having a birthday party, I could swing by for some cake.
Jennette McCurdy's memoir is coming out in a few days, but we are already learning so much about her. Like the fact that Nickelodeon tried to pay her $300,000 to keep quiet about her experiences with working with them, which means that there is a lot of things that they're trying to hide. And that she was encouraged to drink underage by someone that she refers to as the creator, which everyone is assuming is Dan Schneider since he was the guy in charge and he's a creep. She also talks about a situation where she was photographed in a bikini at a wardrobe fitting, and based on the title, she'll get into her not-so-great relationship with her mom.
Alright guys, so we gotta talk about a story that's a little bit different, okay? But I want to talk about it because I think stories like this are important to talk about. As we all know that this is the type of stuff that happens in Hollywood, aka Hollyweird, and people deny that this stuff happens even though we know that it happens. You're called a conspiracy theorist. You have all types of mean names thrown at you for insinuating that messed up stuff happens in Hollywood, okay? And just because you're a celebrity, it doesn't mean that your life is great, right? That doesn't mean that everything is all good for you and that you've never went through any type of traumatic experiences or any type of adversity, okay? Because I definitely think that there's a price to fame, right? There's a price to being a child actor and accumulating all of that, again, fame and notoriety and wealth at such a young age, okay? A lot of these child actors, when they get older, they end up being very messed up, right? They get strung out on drugs. They end up, you know, just not necessarily having it all together, right? Despite having what people would think is a glamorous upbringing. However, that's just simply not the case all the time. In fact, I think probably more often than not, a lot of these child actors are traumatized from the experience of being child actors, if not from outright abuses, but from just the weight of being famous, right? At a young age and everybody knowing who you are at such a young age. And that is what we got to talk about here. As Jennette McCurdy, whom starred in the show iCarly. That was a show when I grew up. I watched it. I can't say I watched it a lot, but I definitely watched it. It was on Nickelodeon. She's come out here and exposed some very disturbing things about her experience in Hollywood, working for Nickelodeon. She said that she was offered hush money by the network and details moments with Ariana Grande that broke her. So I want to talk about Jennette's story here, okay, as she is, again, exposing Hollywood. But before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the links in the description below. You can support the Patreon, you support the PayPal, you support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so, including getting yourself one of my new donkeypox shirts, which is the disease that is affecting America. Or you could check out one of my hashtag no days off / hard work patriotic t-shirts at gforemanbcp.com. Get 20% off using discount code gforemanbcp. So without further ado, let's get into this. All right. Former iCarly star Jennette McCurdy has made significant allegations against Nickelodeon, ranging from not being allowed the same privileges as her Sam and Cat co-star Ariana Grande to a, quote, gift of $300,000 if she agreed to never speak about her experiences at the famed children's network. An excerpt published by Vanity Fair from McCurdy's new memoir, quote, I'm Glad My Mom Died, went into detail of McCurdy's experience as a rising TV star. Yeah, so I know many of you guys are probably thinking, wow, why would she write a book with the title, I'm Glad My Mom Died? Well, I read about it, and apparently her mother did some things to her that, again, people would find to be abusive, okay? Apparently, her mom did things like not letting her eat so that she would stave off her puberty to make Jennette look younger so that she could take on more, you know, childlike roles, even though she was getting older, right? There was things like that her mother did that, it's kind of messed up. Again, this is the type of stuff that some of these kids go through as actors that people don't talk about, right? An unnamed man referred to as, quote, the creator allegedly pressured McCurdy to drink while underage and gave her massages. While the, quote, creator is not named in the book, iCarly was notoriously the brainchild of Dan Schneider, who was investigated by Viacom CBS prior to his 2018 departure from Nickelodeon. Yeah, so I believe that guy, Dan Schneider, created a lot of shows for Nickelodeon. And see, stories like this are why, I think the backlash against Disney is justified, right? When you see Disney pushing certain ideologies on children, you got to ask yourself, what are they doing behind the scenes, right? What are they doing on set, right? What things are happening on set if this is what they're comfortable pushing on kids in public? Again, what could be happening behind the scenes? Again, I'm not saying that anything's happening behind the scenes. I'm just saying, this type of stuff, I think it's reasonable to have questions when a lot of these networks are so gung-ho about pushing ideologies and conversations on kids that kids honestly shouldn't be having at a young age, okay? Now, iCarly was a show that was actually, again, for kids, okay? It didn't have any disturbing themes or anything like that. But, again, as we can see here, behind the scenes, some messed up things were going on, allegedly. McCurdy alleged the creator had a two-faced personality that included, quote, a generous and over-the-top complimentary side, as well as a mean-spirited, controlling, and terrifying one that could make grown men and women cry with his insults and degradation. While the creator later faced significant consequences for his behavior at the network, McCurdy wrote she was told that she would receive $300,000 thank you gift as long as she never agreed to talk publicly about her experience at Nickelodeon. Ultimately, she chose not to accept it. Wow. Hush money, right? So they offer her hush money to not talk about her experiences. Again, how many times do you think this happens in Hollywood? Okay, with, again, some of these child actors or even some of the adult actors, really, to be quite honest with you. Quote, what the F, Nickelodeon, is offering me $300,000 in hush money to not talk publicly about my experience on the show. My personal experience of the creator's abuse, McCurdy wrote. This is a network with shows made for children. Shouldn't they at least try to report to some sort of ethical standard? Well, no, that went out the window, right? Absolutely not. They're not going to report to some type of ethical standard because, again, look what they're doing right now. Right? Look at the agenda they're trying to push on kids. They don't have a moral standard, okay? While McCurdy was promised an iCarly spinoff, the program ultimately became Sam and Cat, in which she co-starred with Grande, who reprised her role from the series Victorious. But while Grande was allowed to pursue opportunities outside the program, McCurdy was told by executives she could not. Quote, what finally undid me was when Ariana came whistle-toning in with excitement because she had spent the previous evening playing charades at Tom Hanks' house. That was the moment I broke, McCurdy wrote in the memoir. So it sounds like for McCurdy here, they tried to keep her kind of locked down, right? They didn't necessarily give her, I guess, the same opportunities outside of the program like they did with Ariana Grande. McCurdy detailed all the experiences at the network, including how she was embarrassed by being pictured in a bikini at a wardrobe fitting. When she voiced her concerns to her mother, she was told by her to deal with it since, quote, everybody wants what you have. Yeah, exactly. Again, this is what I'm talking about. As a child, you don't know that, right? You don't understand that. You don't understand fame, right? And a lot of these kids can't handle fame or the responsibility of fame, okay? But again, her mom, because her mom was probably making money off this, probably making a whole lot of money off of it. At least in the interview I heard from Miss McCurdy, she said that the children kept 15% of what it was paid, and that went into a special account. And I guess, I don't know, the money, the rest of the money went somewhere else, right? I don't know exactly where it went, but again, it's not like she was actually really seeing a whole lot of that money, okay? And her mother was. So of course her mom, considering how she probably was making a ton of money, would be fine with kind of turning her head the other way as this stuff was going on. That response was just a piece of the complex relationship with her late mother. While she struggled with set life, she has also spoken about how her home life was very challenging. Quote, my earliest memories of childhood were of heaviness and chaos, McCurdy told People in 2021, sharing that she witnessed serious physical fighting at home between her parents. Quote, my mom's emotions were so erratic that it was like walking a tightrope every day. The mood fluctuations were daily. Though the actress was terribly shy, she said her mother always dreamt of being a famous actor and she became obsessed with making me a star. That included monitoring and controlling her food. At the time, McCurdy suffered from obsessive-compulsive disorder, eating disorders, and anxiety. Quote, I know if my mom were alive, I'd still have an eating disorder, McCurdy shared. It was only distance from her that allowed me to get healthy. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some recent videos of McCurdy, and she seems to still be pretty skinny, okay? I can only imagine, if she was eating less, what she would look like. But again, this is the type of stuff that these kids go through, man. I mean, whether that's on set, okay, with the producers or, adults on the show or whatever, or, when you have parents that, are happy that their kids are stars and are kind of living vicariously through their kids, being Hollywood stars, forcing things on their kids that their kids simply aren't ready for or they don't understand. Again, these stories are sad, and I think they're worth talking about. And, hey, I'm glad that she's doing well. But again, stuff like this happens, and all too often you hear stories about how a lot of these Hollywood actors, these kids, they end up, basically being messed up for the rest of their lives because of the experiences that they went through. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.